Hey, so today doing something a little bit different, and I am starting to bring you lots more human design information. So I thought I'd start that off with talking to somebody who is in their human design experiment already. So this is Nadia El Maghrabi. Nadia is a spiritual guide. She's a psychotherapy informed coach specializing in past life regression. And Nadia, like me, is a generator. So I thought, where better to start than with the generator type? So, Nadia, I've got some questions for you. Are you ready to dive in?
I am. Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, you're so welcome, lovely. Okay, so Nadia, tell us to start with, how long have you been in your human design experiments?
Well, I had my first human design reading in January of 2020. And a friend of mine who is a manifester was telling me, you need to do this. You need to, you know, find out your design. And so I scheduled a reading and learned all of these things about myself and really sat with that for a while before I would say even starting to integrate it. Like it was so different than anything I had done before. And I had explored my astrology and lots of other aspects of myself at that point, but never really, that was the first I had heard. I had heard little bits of human design, but that was really the first that I knew what it was.
Mm.
And so, yeah, so it took me, I would say, a good year before I really started to dive in to it myself.
Mm. Yeah, takes a little while to settle, right?
Yeah.
I love that it was the manifester who initiated you into this.
So
Isn't that
funny. I was just
perfect?
realizing that
Mm.
she
Yeah.
totally did.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So you found out you're a generator, and that's the biggest thing that we find out first, isn't it? We learn out our type, and we know that that just gets a little bit more nuanced as we get in. But you found out you're a generator. What do you love about that? How does it serve you?
So, yeah, in the beginning, I don't know if I truly resonated with the generator. I think I was like, oh, well, that's the majority of the people are generators. So I thought, like, that's not a good one.
Yeah, me too.
So I was like, okay, whatever with this, that's fine. But it was the being an emotional generator that is something that resonated with me right away. And learning that about myself, that I had this emotional authority, which I don't even remember hearing those words in the beginning, but I just heard what that message was, that I need to take time to make decisions. And I resonated with that deeply. And the thing is about that is that I would get down on myself for not being able to make a decision quickly. And so it was almost like permission, like, oh, I don't have to. I can sit with something and tell somebody that I'll get back to them the next day or when I've figured out what I want to do. And I don't have to make a decision in the moment. And I think I was always judging myself about that. Like, why can't I just make a decision? So that was a very freeing understanding,
Mm.
and that I did get that right away, even though I didn't necessarily look more into human design. That piece really struck me. And then with being a generator, when I was young, my mother told me, when I would ask questions like, well, what should I do about this? Or what should I do about that? She would say, well, what does your gut say? Which, and she's a manifesting generator, mind you.
Mm.
But I didn't like even when she would say that, I didn't really, oh, what is she talking about? What does that mean? But it would always stick in my head. And it gave me, again, permission to like go within and to see, what do I want to do? What feels right for me? And so that part of being a generator hit me too, of this, having the sacral, and knowing like my body knows, and I don't need to make decisions with my head. And so, yeah, so then learning that I was a generator, it gave me again that permission to trust that and to get out of my head, which is how I did make the majority of my decisions, and
Mm.
bad ones at times.
Yeah. We're not good at making decisions in our heads, are we?
We are not.
No.
That's not what they're for.
Oh, how fantastic that your mum must have known at some level as well that she was there to make decisions with her gut, her sacral. She
Yeah,
must have known that
she
and then
must
passed it on to you. That's incredible.
have. Hmm.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, what about challenges for you in being a generator? Is there anything that you were like, oh, I don't want that?
I think the biggest thing was like most people are generators, thinking that it's not anything special.
Mm.
But I don't feel that way anymore because we're all so unique and the charts are all so different. And that's just a way that our energy works. And so the challenges for me, I think that as I have done the experiment, I'm more and more appreciative of my design and who I am. But in the beginning, there was more of this. Well, I like the sound of being a manifester. I want to initiate things. I want that.
Yeah.
But the more I go and see, like, I'm not meant to initiate, I'm meant to respond to things. It's that permission. I don't have to do it the way somebody else does it. I don't. And that was another thing, trying to think of what should I do next? Where's the inspiration? I don't need to think about what I'm going to do next. It's going to come to me.
Mm.
And so I would say that process has been more and more over the past year of allowing that and really knowing that I don't have to figure anything out. And so it's helped me get out of the FOMO, fear of missing out, getting out of the comparison, comparing myself with other people and thinking I should do things like they're doing it or they should, whatever. And just realizing we're all these unique individuals.
Mm.
So it's been a very liberating process, the deeper that I get into it.
I can hear that in you. I think it's amazing.
Mhm.
um, Nadia, there was a question went through my head and it's just moved on, so it wasn't the right question. Um, you've talked a bit about having that sacral, all generators have got that sacral, yes, no, fast response. And you mentioned before that you sounds like your mum helped you out with that.
Mhm.
So how does that work for you? How does it show up? Do you find it showing up?
I do. I feel it. My body fully lights up when it's a
Mm.
yes for me. And even the way that we met in our mastermind program, when I saw Emma, offered that a year ago, I was very curious and really wanted to do it, but I was so new to the experiment that I felt I'm not ready for that yet. And when it showed up again this year, my whole body just was like, yes, I want to do that. And I had already gone through the wave of it because I had said in my mind, next time that comes up, I want to do it. So I had figured that out to an extent. And so I didn't have to wait for a long time to decide. I maybe waited overnight, but I was right on there. But it was this like full body yes. And so that's how I tune into it. I do sometimes use a pendulum to help me if
Mm.
things are not very clear, but I can feel this. And I've done this, I think, with kinesiology in the past too, just to learn what is a yes and what's a no for me. And I feel this upward movement for the yes inside of my core. And I feel like a sinking feeling for the no.
Mm.
And so, but when it's a big yes, it's like something is bubbling up and coming out of me. And then I'll use a pendulum if I'm feeling confused. I'm not sure if it's a timing thing or if this is something I want to do now. I'll use a pendulum, but I'll also check that multiple times to see if it's a yes or a no. So
Mm.
that helps me tune into it as well. But if it's a strong yes, I feel it.
Amazing. And it's building that muscle, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I definitely found to start with, I was like, oh, can I feel that? Can I not feel it? And the
Yeah.
more I was tuning in, the more I could feel it. It was really obvious whether it was a yes or a no.
Mm-hmm.
So over
Wow.
time, I don't know if you found that as well, that building the muscle.
Yes. And the no's are much clearer too. It's a
Mm.
physical feeling of like I feel myself retracting back, pushing
Mm.
away. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful because
Yeah.
it's like an inner GPS.
What a gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a gift.
It
Mm.
is a gift.
Yeah. Um, so I did want to ask you, with with being a generator, we told that our purpose is to do the work. To do the work. How did that land with you? And how is it landing with you now? Because I'm like, what?
I know. Like I have to do the work. I'm the worker bee. I'm the I think
Why
someone
me?
said it like a dog or something, like you're building, I don't know. Yeah, like a workhorse. These are some of the phrases that I've heard. I was
Mm.
like, oh, I don't want to just be a worker.
Yeah.
But when you pair that with doing something that I want to do, listening to that sacral yes, it's not work. It doesn't feel like work to build things or to make things. It's exciting and sometimes it's hard to shut off, if anything, because there's so many things that light me up now that it's like I want to keep doing those things.
Mm.
But I do feel that energy, like even if it's doing stuff around the house, when I have the desire to do it, I enjoy it. Like washing the dishes or folding laundry. I mean, I don't really enjoy folding laundry much, but there are certain things that it's fun to do. And moving, that's another thing for the generators is to
Mm.
move our bodies and to use up that sacral energy. And I know if I lay around for a day or two, I don't feel good.
Mm.
I have to have those long walks, do some sort of exercise, and that keeps me feeling good and in tune with that sacral yes and no.
Mm. Yeah, that's such a good call, isn't it? That using up the energy. Yeah, I've had those sofa days thinking I'm resting, I'm spoiling myself, but no, just
Doesn't
thought
feel good.
through. Yeah, just rotten
It's
at the end.
almost it's almost like that. I feel agitated if I'm sick or something and I lay
Mm.
around too much. It's oh
Yeah, yeah. So much good stuff to know and learn and really integrate,
yeah.
right, over time and settle in. So, okay, so before we wrap up, Nadia, is there anything else you want to share in particular about being a generator?
Hmm. Someone in our group mentioned following the energetic breadcrumbs, and that has really struck me because I think I've done that my whole life is following those energetic breadcrumbs, the things that are exciting, the things that are fun
Mm.
for me, and doing those, even before I knew human design, I did that to some extent, and now it's been refined even more. And really like knowing that we are going to get exactly what we need, it's going to show up for us. And all we need to do is do the things that we like, follow that, keep ourselves busy, I guess, in a sense, doing what we enjoy doing. And the
Mm.
things that are meant for us are going to come to us. And I think the biggest part of that too is say no to the things that we don't want.
Mm.
And you mentioned that before we got on the call here about creating space, right? So I think and this was a big thing for me, it's like it's harder to feel that yes, that feeling lit up and feel that yes when we have our calendar full of things that we don't really want to do, maybe working a 9 to 5 job for someone else or whatever it is. And of course we have to work within some limits, but the more we can say no to the things that really don't light us up is the more we're gonna be able to have openings for things that do light us up.
Yeah.
Creates that space. So I think that's huge. The beauty, the art of saying no has been a big thing for me too over these
Mm.
past couple of years.
Yeah, the word that came up for me then as you were talking was trust,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
making the space, but trusting that by making the space, something good will come in. Because we can think, oh, if I don't say yes, there might not be another
Yeah.
opportunity. Maybe I should say yes. But yeah, having that trust that if I say no, I'm making space. It's not a missed opportunity.
Exactly.
It's
I
almost
love
the
that.
opposite, isn't it? If we say
It
yes to the
is.
wrong things, that's a missed opportunity.
Exactly. Because then if we say no, then something better is going to come in
Yeah.
if it's not the right thing for us.
A lot of trust in that, though. A lot of trust.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, thank you for sharing that part of your journey about being a generator. Nadia, that's amazing. And who knows, we might be able to come back and talk to you about some other parts of the chart as
Would
we
love that.
learn a bit more.
This
Fab.
is fun. Thanks so much for having me, Sarah. It was
Okay.
lovely.
Thank you.